Hey there, Steven here with Crystal Tractor. Today I'm out at our beautiful Stark location with the 1626. You know, Mahindra is already the best-selling farm tractor in the world, and the 1626 is a great example of why. We've got a ton of value packed into this small little tractor, and recently it's had some updates to make it even better. So we're gonna take a dive today, take a look at the two different versions of the 1626, and see why it just might be the best value tractor for you. So just what kind of tractor are we getting here? Well, when it comes to Mahindras, you've got two parts to every model name. Now the first part, 16, it's gonna be your 1600 series, and that's gonna generally represent your 5-foot wide class of tractor. When it comes to 26, that's gonna represent our horsepower class. There are two other tractors in the 1600 series. You're gonna be the 1635 and the 1640. Those are a little different, and we'll cover those in another video. We actually have one on the 1640. I'll put that right here for you. All the tractors in the 1600 series are also going to come with two transmission options. You're going to have your shuttle version, which will be the one right here. That's going to give you 4 gears with 2 ranges, which gives you a total of 8 speeds in both travel directions. They're all connected via a synchromesh shuttle, so it makes it super easy to switch between forward and reverse by simply pulling one lever without having to hunt for your reverse gear. Or you have the hydrostatic or HST version, which makes it even easier to drive because now they've updated it with side-by-side pedals. You have one pedal for forward and another for reverse, and you have 3 total ranges there, which gives you options for more torque or more speed or somewhere in between, depending on how it suits your application. Now, regardless of which transmission option you choose, it's going to be connected to this 25 horsepower, 1.3 liter Mitsubishi diesel. Now, this engine also completely eliminates the need for DEF, for a DPF filter, and any high heat regen cycles. So your production time on this tractor is going to be spent getting work done and not having to worry about taking care of emissions. But when the time comes to do any scheduled maintenance or other repairs on the engine, one of the other great things about this is how they've laid out the engine bay area here. So you can see we've got a nice high opening hood, and this is held captive with this little latch. And you can actually get this even higher and remove it if you need to. But here in the front, I've got 2 thumb screws that I can loosen up, and these are gonna let me rotate the entire grille assembly forward, and I can remove this if I want. There I can get to headlights or the battery if I need to. And then these 2 side panels on both sides have a thumb screw right here in the top. I can remove this, and these panels can be completely removed as well. So if I need to get to belts or any filters or anything, I can also get in there pretty easily. The other great thing is that if anything does go wrong here, the engine in the entire powertrain is going to be covered by Mahindra's standard 7-year and 3,000 hour warranty. So you're going to have peace of mind there as well. Now, talking about that maintenance leads me into the next thing I want to mention here, and that is the awesome 1626L loader that comes on this tractor. Now, as you can see, because I was working there in the engine bay, I had the loader raised up to get more access. But Mahindra is thinking about that this time around, and one of the updates they made with the new refresh model is they added this awesome hydraulic ram lock to keep the loader from falling on you in case you lose hydraulic pressure. This is actually kept here on this side post. That's included with every one of these now. And another thing I want to show you here, so let's go ahead and drop this down. I'm going to engage my float function. So here on the side, on both sides rather, all of our grease points are actually held captive inside of these little cylinders. So that means if I accidentally sideswipe something I didn't mean to, I have less to worry about when it comes to actually damaging these grease ports. And it also makes them easier to locate when the time comes for my regular maintenance. Another thing they were thinking about when it comes to obstacle avoidance is the hydraulic hoses. Now, as you can see here, wherever possible, the hoses are actually run inside of the loader tubes, and wherever they're not, they are positioned between the loader arms and the tractor. So again, keeping you safe from those obstacles you might encounter when you're out in the brush. Additionally, down at the bottom here, where our loader valve is located, it's actually at a height that's going to be just above the frame rail. So if we encounter any obstacles on the ground, As long as they're at a level below the frame rail, we're going to be safe with that. And additionally, if it does encounter something, we have a skid plate and a protective pan here built around it as well. So hopefully you don't encounter that, but if you do, you're going to be pretty well protected. Now let's actually talk about the capabilities of the loader itself, because that might be one of the most impressive aspects of this entire tractor package. Now what we're getting here is going to be an awesome 1,600 pounds of lift capacity all the way to the full height, and that is going to actually be at 7 feet. Now what that means is that with the 1626, you can actually carry round bales on this tractor. We've tried it. And you can throw a bale spear on the back, and that means with this little 25 horsepower tractor, you can actually carry 2 round bales at a time. Now you combine that with the 64-inch bucket here and the 2,500 pound breakout force that you get at ground level, that's gonna also enable you to do some pretty serious dirt work. You've also got 2-lever quick connect or skid steer quick attach up here on the front. We've got an entire video about how that works. You can find that right here. Now that means it's going to be super easy for you to actually swap out to any additional front end implements as well, like pallet forks or maybe even a grapple if you want to add a third function. Now controlling that loader has also been made even easier than before. Here you've got a new redesigned loader joystick attached to the 1626. It's taller and closer to the operator, so you can actually reach it a little easier. They also added dual functionality. So not only can you lift and curl or dump and curl at the same time with this loader valve assembly, they also implemented dual float. So you can float your loader arms as well as your bucket cylinders. So either way, you've got more versatility there for more applications. And while you're operating that loader or any other part of the tractor, you'll be doing it in comfort too. Because as always, we've got the awesome M Comfort seat, but part of the new refresh model is they've added a new wider version of it, along with adjustable armrests here, so we can turn this little dial and give us different heights for the armrests for different operators. We've also got some adjustment here for the angle on the back of the seat, and of course, we can adjust the leg room here with a nice little slide lever. Then down at the bottom, you've also got a nice rubber-lined floorboard. We've got this thick rubber mat over the entire floorboard that keeps down your noise and vibration and heat, and also helps with your grip when you're getting in and on the tractor. That's also helped out by the step assist. You've got one of these on both sides. And then if we take a look at the steering wheel here, we are going to have tilt adjustment for our steering wheel, and that will be full power steering as well. And that brings me to another one of the awesome components of the design of this tractor. Now, if we take a look down at the axles here, we're going to actually find that our cylinder for our steering, as well as the steering linkage, all of that is actually placed above and behind the cast iron axles up here behind your four-wheel drive system. So again, that means if you encounter some unplanned obstacle out in the field, your steering components are also going to be more protected behind this cast iron assembly. Another great thing about the steering system on the 1626 is that even though you're going to have a 10-foot long tractor here, you've got a turning radius that is less than 8 feet. So you've got quite a nimble little machine here as well. Moving back up to the operator station, if we take a look at the rest of the controls here, we can see how everything is laid out spaciously and easy to access. Here on the left side, one of the first things you'll see is a grab handle that makes it easier to get in. This is bolted into the steel reinforced fenders that we get on both sides. You've also got a cup holder here on the left and right sides. Now on the left, if we look here, we're going to find our 4-speed selector. This is of course only on the shuttle shift version, so we've got our 4 gears here. On the HST version, you'll just have a blank panel, but we also find our range selector with 2 ranges here on our shuttle version, or we'll find 3 ranges on the hydrostat version. Moving on up, we're going to find our PTO selection lever. Now with the 1626s, you have the option, of course, of not only your rear PTO, but you can also add a mid PTO, and that's going to enable you to add up to a 72-inch mid-mount mower to it, or you can actually add a snow blower if you're in a colder climate and deal with snow. On the right side, again, we'll find our 3-point height control, pretty standard, and our shuttle shift version also includes an electronic PTO engagement. That's pretty simple to use. You can just push down and turn it to engage your PTO and push again to disengage it. Moving down below the seat, we can take a look here at some other controls we've got, which is going to include our 4-wheel drive selector, as you are going to find that standard on all 1626s. And we'll have our 3-point speed control, as well as our hydraulic fill point. Now on the other side, I want to show you something that's going to be a little bit different between the two transmission models. Now sticking with our shuttle version, we're going to find a throttle pedal here on the floor as well as our dual brakes. Now these can actually be disengaged to allow you to operate them independently to make those tighter turns if need to be. But over here on the hydrostat model, if we take a look at the floorboard here, we are going to have a single brake, but what we get in exchange is dual travel pedals for our hydrostat. So we have one pedal to engage to go forward and one pedal to go in reverse. That means we don't have to worry about a treadle pedal that's going to be here on the floorboard getting in the way and taking up footroom. And we also have clearly marked pedals to help you know which direction to go in as well. So when you're working with this loader or other implements, it's made a little easier that way without the need to shift back and forth. Additionally, the hydrostat transmission also has a speed lock function as well. So here under the steering column, there's a lever you can flip that's going to allow you to set the speed that you're going without having to hold your foot on the pedal the whole time, making it just as easy to drive as it would be with a gear model. We'll find that lever located here just below the steering column, along with on both models our parking brake lock and our steering height control lever. Now on both models, we'll also find a clutch down here for the hydrostat. This is just going to be for safety to help start the tractor. But with the shuttle, we will find up here our shuttle control lever. Now this is how you easily switch back and forth between forward and reverse speeds. So you don't have to switch out of, say, third gear and then hunt for reverse. You can stay in your third gear whether you're in forward or reverse travel simply by switching the direction on this lever. And then as we move over towards the center of the dash, we'll find our headlight and turn signal controls and our central gauge cluster, which is going to give us some helpful information like our current RPMs as well as target RPMs for your PTO variables. You'll find an hour meter as well as a fuel gauge and a few other helpful instruments and lights. And finally here we have our keyed start. Now finally, let's go ahead and take a look at the one section we haven't been to yet, and that's going to be our 3-point and PTO back here. So what you're getting here is going to be a standard Category 1 3-point system, but they have made a nice improvement here, and that's going to be with this telescopic stabilizer bar. So that means what we have here is a hitch pin that we can remove, and instead of having to sit here and turn turnbuckles to be able to get around our implements, all we have to do is pull that pin, and now our link arms can swing freely, allowing us to get around those implements easier and hook up. And once we've got it hooked up and lifted, we can center it. And then, because these holes are offset just so slightly, we'll find the right spot and we'll be able to set our pin back in to just where we need it to have it lined up right there. So now that's going to lock that implement in place and you won't have to worry about sitting there and dialing your turnbuckles in. You're also going to find, of course, your standard top link right here, and we do have a tilt mechanism here as well. Now our PTO output is going to differ depending on which version of the transmission we get. So with the hydrostatic version, you're going to get a 19 horsepower output back here. But with the shuttle, you do have a little bit less drivetrain rob from the transmission system. That's going to give you 21.5 horsepower at the back. And if we move on up here, we're going to go ahead and find that we've got a nice little toolbox here to help keep implement pins or small hand tools if we need to. And back here in the seat, we've got a document storage folder. Now you can keep handy documents in like your owner's manual, and just below that, well, every 1626 does come standard with the drawbar. You can see it's not here on this machine because it's actually got a nice storage area back here that bolts in place. So that keeps it out of the way if you're not using it. Above that, of course, we're going to find our folding ROPS. This will fold down to a mid position if you need to park it in a garage or a shed. But of course, normally we like to keep it up, and that keeps us safe from a rollover event. So what do you think? Could the 1626 be the right tractor for you? And if so, which version? Would you like the shuttle shift or the hydrostat? Let us know in the comments your thoughts on which version you think might be the right one and why. And if you found the video helpful, please leave us a like. It really helps us out a lot. And if you want to see more Mahindra content, you can always click on the playlist that's going to show at the end of this video, or you can go check us out at crystaltractor.com. Up there, you'll be able to find all of our different brands and models, as well as prices and the great values available. And you can also check out our clearance section. We've got some great finds up there and we update it daily. So thanks for checking out our video. We'll see you in the next one.